What's going on, guys? It's Drew with Profit Monsters, back with another What Sold video. And in today's video, I'm going to be sharing what sold on Poshmark in the month of January for me. Now, what you're going to see is pretty much everything I've sold. I'm a full-time reseller, and I've been selling on Poshmark for about 8 months or so. I have just gotten into it more recently, so I'm still learning the platform a little bit, but I love it. It's a great platform to sell on. If you don't sell on Poshmark, hopefully this video will help you consider it so you can see how much money I'm making and the type of items that I'm selling. Mainly I sell specifically clothing and shoes on Poshmark, and there are a couple other random items that might be thrown in. But I want to show you guys not just what sells on eBay, but what sells on Poshmark for me as well. And there's a buyer for just about everything, and every marketplace and platform has different buyers. So take advantage of different marketplaces and platforms. And let's go into the video and I'll show you guys what I sold starting at the beginning of the month, January 1st. All right, now that we got the right screen up, the first item is an Adidas Mexico shirt. So a lot of the clothing that you'll see in this video too is stuff I picked up at the Goodwill bins, where you pay for clothing by the pound. In my area, the Goodwill bins is $1.39 a pound. So the average shirt is less than $1, closer to 75 cents. So obviously I won't say that in every single item that I go through, but you can see here, I sold this Adidas Mexico jersey for $29, and on all of these, the buyer has paid shipping. I don't believe I offered discounted or free shipping on any item that I sold. So just a nice jersey, nothing fancy, but Mexico soccer jersey. Soccer jerseys are really popular. It's on Adidas Climacool, so really quick sale too. Next is this lot of 2 Maddox snapback hats. I actually got these at the bins, and I looked them up, and sure enough, they were selling pretty hot by themselves for, 10 to 15 bucks a hat. So I listed them as a lot of 2 for $30, and the buyer purchased them. You can't see, like on eBay, the negotiations that go back and forth. It'll just show you what the sold price was. So I can't really remember every single item, the negotiations and stuff like that. If I do, I'll let you guys know, but this one was a full price sale. This was a really cool LL Bean fleece lined jacket. This was like a youth large, so it was not a, or I'm sorry, this is an adult large. I have a youth large one too. This was an adult large, and it was just an older LL Bean shirt here. As you can see, made in the USA, fleece line, cool colors, and this sold for $25. Next up is a pair of Air Zoom Pegasus 34s. I actually bought these from another reseller because I'm a runner. I like to run, and the Pegasus shoes are a great model of shoes for running. Unfortunately, these just didn't fit me that great. I don't know why. I just wasn't really comfortable in them. I don't know if it's because they were a little used or what, but I ended up relisting them and sold them for full price of $49 on Poshmark. So at least I got my money back. This is a pair of American Apparel jeans. I actually misspelled it in the listing here, and they still sold. So $20, I was happy to get this sold. I paid $1 for these. It was in a lot of clothing that I bought way back last year from a government auction. So happy to get these sold. This was a really cool like Plymouth shirt that I got from my grandmother. That it was sitting in my grandfather's closet for a long time. I took this picture up in Connecticut when I was visiting, and it was from 1988, and it was single stitch, really cool graphic on it, and it sold for $32 on Poshmark. This was a great sale. I picked these up at the Goodwill outlet, or the bins as people call them. These are Merrell air cushion hiking boots. Merrell is a great brand to pick up if you're unfamiliar with them. These were stained, and I still managed to sell them for $40. One, because they're hiking boots, so people know they're going to get them dirty. And two, because I got them at the bins, and you can see how much grip and tread there is still left on them. They were actually in amazing shape and a cool colorway. So they sold for $40. Next up is this vintage Bongos denim dress. This actually had the original $48 tag from the 80s. Still on it. I picked this up at the bins, and it had never been worn, apparently. Probably just sat in someone's closet. This kind of vintage stuff is really trendy and popular right now, especially on Depop too. It sold on Poshmark for $45. made in the USA. So a really cool sale. I'm normally not big into women's clothing, but I know that Bongo is very popular. You can see I took multiple pictures of it, and just a great sale. Next up, one of my favorite things to sell here is Hoka 11. These were Clifton 5s. I got these at the bins, and I couldn't believe they were there. You can see they weren't ripped, but they had a little bit of like a flaw right there on the top. I made sure to disclose it in the listing, and they were dirty. I tried to clean them as best as I could, but these were still in decent shape on the bottom. So they were a weird size though, 12.5 2E. So they were wide shoes, but sure enough, there's a buyer for everything out there, and they sold for $49. Next up is this New York Yankees Derek Jeter jersey. I actually got this from a friend of mine when I made my YouTube video about sourcing at an abandoned house, a hoarder house. This was in the closet hanging up, and I sold this for $39. It was a great sale. Derek Jeter, New York Yankees, baseball, sports clothing is great to resell. Next up is this Goodfellow. This was a retail arbitrage flip. I bought this at Target for like $1.49 or something like that. They were on crazy clearance. And this was when I first started reselling. So you can see the pictures are really crummy. And it has the original $24.99 tag still on it. I took the clearance sticker off, and I accepted a best offer of $14. You can see I listed it for $30, and someone offered me $14, and I just accepted because this has been sitting in my inventory for a really long time. Next up is this vintage 1980s windbreaker jacket. I picked this up at Goodwill for $5.99. I paid a little up for it, but I ended up selling it for $30, and I was really happy with that sale. So, yeah, I can't complain. It's just an old windbreaker, nothing fancy, just a vintage windbreaker. First Run is the brand there, and it's just the colorway that sells. You know, people wonder why this kind of stuff it sells if it's not Nike or Adidas. It's because of the colorway, and that vintage trend is really popping right now. Next up, a really popular or a really favorite sale of mine, if that's even the right sentence, is this Vail, Colorado ski sweatshirt. I ended up selling this for $45, and it's a vintage 90s. This was embroidered. I tried to get, like you can see here, Vail, Colorado is like a resort and ski place in Colorado, and it was on an old Hanes tag. Sold for full price. I didn't even have to take an offer on it. Next up is a Columbia PFG Omni Shade Vented Polo. Columbia PFG is a great brand to sell. I think it's slowly declining, kind of like Tommy Bahama. You have to be kind of picky with it, but for the most part, Columbia PFG sells really well still, and this sold for $15 on Poshmark. Pick this up at the bins. This was a really cool pickup. This is a vintage Memphis State Tigers sweatshirt. Vintage college teams do really well. I always price them high because I know there's a demand for them, and eventually I'll find the right buyer. I'm not desperate to sell inventory when I know it will sell. And sure enough, this sold for $39 on Poshmark. And I believe I picked this up at the bins. Next up is another bins find. I picked up this Looney Tunes like quarter half button denim shirt right here. Just an original classic type shirt. Very cool, and nothing on the back here. This sold for $29 on Poshmark, size extra small. Vintage Looney Tunes, embroidered, Disney, that kind of stuff sells very fast on Poshmark for me. Here's another pair of Merrell boots. These are hiking boots again, and you can see in this picture there is paint on them. I tried to get the paint off, and I didn't really want to do too much to the boots, so I just put it in the description. A few spots with dried paint, but no rips or tears. And took well-lit photos, again, of all angles. You can see there's plenty of life left in the boots. Size 8.5 right here, women's hiking boots. So this was a great sale for $39. Another Columbia PFG shirt with a really cool design on it. These is just like a floral colorway. I picked this up at the bins, and it sold for 20 bucks. Here's a pair of men's DC skate shoes. I actually picked these up at Goodwill for $10, and they sold for 50 bucks on Poshmark. So skate shoes is a great thing to look out for. These were in amazing condition. And again, all angles, you can see they look like they've barely even been worn. So size 11.5, good size, and really happy with that sale. Next up, this is another shirt I got from this that auction lot from the government auction. Have $1 into this shirt and it sold for $16. This was back when I was bad at taking pictures. As you can see, they're pretty cruddy, and it still sold. So really happy to move this kind of inventory. You pay 20% fees, so there's like $12 minus the dollars, $13 profit on this item. Another item from that dollar lot from clothing, I basically got like 700 pieces of clothing for $700. And this was one of them, a dope long sleeve shirt. It just says dope sport on it. Bougie crew. It kind of reminds me of like Polo Sport. But sure enough, this sold for 20 bucks. Here is a pair of Nike Morgan 6.0 Tropical Twist low skate shoes. I picked these up at a garage sale where I got like 7 or 8 pairs of shoes for $7 each. They had massive tables just mountain piled high of this clothing and or shoes, I'm sorry. And I picked up these from that garage sale and they were in excellent shape. I cleaned them up a little bit with a magic eraser and they sold for $43. I think I had them listed for $49. This was a pair of vintage O'Neill board shorts with like a really insane colorway and graphic on them. There was like a wizard holding a surfer in like this crystal ball type of thing with lightning all over them. I just thought that the graphic was really cool. And sure enough, these sold on January 11th and they still sold. So guys, don't be afraid to list your stuff that's summer themed or spring themed in the winter. I picked these up at the bins and I had them listed for I think $30 and I ended up agreeing at $23. Another pair of Hoka 11 Clifton 4s. These sell very fast, Hoka 11s. I picked these up at the Goodwill for $9.99 and I sold them for $40. Again, well-lit photos. You can see here I'm slowly getting better and better at my pictures. I like to hide the laces kind of below the tongue there and show the soles were in good shape. The tag was still very clean. Size 9 is a good size for women's shoes. And yeah, very happy with this sale. Hokas sell super fast. Next up is a Florida Gators reversible windbreaker. As you can see here, it's black on one side with the Gators logo and blue on another side. Starter brand is a great brand to look out for. This was in a very good size too, extra large to extra, extra large. And I picked this up at a Goodwill for $5.99, and I knew I would be able to make good money on it. And I sold it on Poshmark for 39 bucks. Next up, this LL Bean wool sweatshirt. I picked this up at the bins. LL Bean stuff can sometimes take a long time to sell. It just depends on the buyer. I know like Ben at Ready Set Resell just sold a vintage LL Bean leather jacket for like $250 or something crazy like that. So LL Bean can sell, especially the boots, the duck boots and things like that. The clothing's a little slower, but I do like picking it up because there is a following for it. And this one I sold for $20. This was a new with tags AC/DC shirt, BioWorld 2019 all over print. Nothing fancy here. This is a newer shirt, screen printed tag. I picked this up at the bins and so about 50 cents to 20 bucks flip. Nike LSU Tigers jacket. Again, college teams here. You can see that my pictures on this one were not that good and I didn't realize it when I made the listing. It's very hard sometimes to get the reflective dry fit colors because they're reflective. So when you take pictures, so someone messaged me and said, what's the lowest you'll take? I can buy today. And here's my response. I said, I don't negotiate in the comments, but feel free to send me a reasonable offer and I will ship out right away. And he said, I sent you an offer. And then he said, paid for. And I said, thank you. So I had this listed for, I think, 30 bucks. And you know what? I paid $5 for this at Goodwill. And I just wanted to move the inventory. It was a size small. And I hadn't had any other offers on it. So I was happy to quadruple my money. Rip Curl flannel long sleeve shirt. This wasn't that dollar lot that I bought from the government auction. Again, you can see the pictures reflect how old the listing is. And this sold for 15 bucks. Flannel shirts sell really well, especially brands like Hurley, Rip Curl, Billabong, things like that. They do pretty well for, you know, bread and butter sales, you know, cheaper pieces. This is a pair of Air Jordan Spizike King Countries. I sold these for $60 and I picked these up at Salvation Army on their half off day. They were peeling and the paint was kind of jacked up there, as you can see. Also, I'm going to see if I can get to the picture where I disclosed it. The little tag right here that tightens the laces was like chewed up by a dog, and I put that in the listing right here. Chew marks, but still works. And so I think I had these listed for $89, and because of the flaws, I accepted an offer of $60. So they're in good shape on the bottom, as you can see. So someone got a deal on these, but I think I paid about $5 for these at half off. This was a bad pickup from the bins. I thought it would do better. I listed it for $20. I didn't really have any hits. I just thought it was cool because it was like the Texas flag, and I accepted a best offer of $12 to move the inventory. Still a good sale. I mean, I paid less than $2 for it at the bins, but not something that I would probably pick up again. True Religion jeans, I picked these up at the bins. I'm very hesitant about picking up True Religion because there's a lot of fakes out there, but I did my research and used the RN number, and sure enough, these seemed legit. So I picked them up and they sold for $60 very quickly on Poshmark. This is an amazing sale. I love these Chaco sandals. I picked these up at the bins, and I was hesitant because Chacos weigh a little bit more. They're a little heavier, so I think I paid $3 or $4 for these. And the selling price on this model is like about $25. Was the highest I could find. Brand new, they were selling for, you know, about $40. And I just listed them high just for the heck of it. And sure enough, someone paid full price for them and commented, and I think it's in here. It said, "When will you be able to ship these?" And I said, "First thing tomorrow morning." And she messaged me and said that she was really happy. She's going on a trip to Hawaii, so she really needed them. So sometimes people will pay what you're willing to pay if the supply and the demand is there. So I had the supply, she had the demand, and paid for them full price. Simply Southern is a great bread and butter item. I don't really pick them up unless I find them at the bins, but they do sell relatively quickly, and you can make pretty decent money on them. This one was a small size, so this one sold. I accepted an offer of $10 to move the inventory, so I have about 50 cents into this. No real graphic on the front either. Next up is this DeWitt excavating hook and loop, or adhesive strap, as I have to call it, but it's technically Velcro on the back. It's not Velcro brand, so you can't list it like that. But I did put in the listing down here, Velcro strap. This was, again, before I even knew. You can see it's a little dirty on the bottom here, but this kind of construction stuff and vintage style companies and things can sell well. I listed it for like $70 for a while, had no hits, and I slowly was lowering it and lowering it, lowering it. Eventually I got an offer for $20, and I took it. Nike dry fit running shorts. I love picking these up at the bins. They are super fast sellers. I can sell these in about 24 hours. Almost every colorway and every size sells very fast for $15 for me on Poshmark and eBay. I pay, you know, 25 to 30 cents for these at the bins because they weigh like 3 ounces. So this is a great item to flip if you can find them at the bins. Dansko is a great brand here. I picked these up at the Goodwill, where I got 30 shoes at one store. These had some flaws on the top, as you can see, but the colorway was amazing. There were no other ones like it listed. I had them listed for $70, and I accepted a best offer of $60. They were still a little dirty. I tried to clean them off as best as possible, but still very happy with the sale. Next up, a Hard Rock Cafe shirt. Not something I would pick up again, but it was single stitch, and sometimes I just have a hard time leaving vintage stuff when I find it at the bins. I listed it for like $15 and accepted a best offer just to move the inventory. Vionic is a great brand. This was also in that lot of 30 shoes I got at one Goodwill store. This was 2 pairs of Vionics I got. I sold 1 pair already for $50, and this one sold for full list price of $59. Both pairs sold on Poshmark, and it's a great brand to be on the lookout for. I don't know much about them, but they're like orthotic shoes. Very good for people walking or needing like posture support. And so I was very happy to make this sale. Vineyard Vines. Everybody knows Vineyard Vines. It's a great brand to be on the lookout for. Not the best pictures in the listing, but I ended up selling this polo for $20. Nike Air Max 270 Flyknits. These were a size 13, and I listed them for $120 and accepted an offer of $100. This was a retail arbitrage flip. I got these at Burlington in my retail arbitrage video for $45 and accepted, or I sent out an offer to Likers for $105, and the buyer sent me a counter offer for $100, and I accepted. Very happy with that sale. especially because it was a higher priced item. So I have to pay 20% to Poshmark, which kind of stinks on this sale, but that means, you know, I still made $45 or so profit on these shoes. Next up, Lululemon shorts. I found these at Goodwill for $4 and they sold for 35 bucks. Lululemon is an amazing brand to sell. It still had the tag on them, and all Lululemon tends to sell pretty well. There's not many that don't, and my pictures were actually pretty crappy quality because I took them late at night because I wanted to get them listed, and they still sold. Next up is a Snoopy V-neck scrub. I don't normally pick up scrubs, but this was at the bins and it had a really cool Peanuts tag on it. So I figured I'd pick it up, and sure enough, it sold for 20 bucks. So if you can find cool characters or things that have good followings like Star Wars or Pokemon, things like that, people will buy them that are nurses or work at doctors' offices and things like that. Cole Haan is another great brand of shoes to sell. Guys, be on the lookout for Cole Haan. Not all of them sell for this price, but these I picked up at Goodwill for $10 and they sold for $50. These are like wingtip Joshua's, Bergens. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I just look up the model that's in the tag. I don't know much about, you know, shoes to begin with. I just type in C14279 and sure enough, they come up, and accepted an offer. I think I had them for $59 and I sold them for $50. Columbia Boogaboo ski jacket. I sat on this for a really long time because I knew I'd get a buyer for it. I had it listed for $59 and I ended up accepting an offer of $40 because I had it for a really long time and I decided it was just time to move it. It was also a medium, so it wasn't a massive size. So, but a really cool jacket that I found at the bins, and it had the inside fleece lining still attached to it. So really cool sale. Very happy to move the inventory and get the space back in my storage unit. Adidas high top men's shoes. If you guys follow me on Instagram, these were disgusting and dirty. I got these at the bins, and I made an Instagram post about cleaning these up, and I listed them for like $100, didn't get any hits. I don't know if these are actually authentic Adidas or if they're bootleg. I think they're bootleg, but I could not verify that, and I put in the description sold as is. I can't find much of the shoes by searching any of the tag numbers, so I cannot authenticate the date or model. But the tag looked legit. So, you know, maybe it's just an older model or something like that, but I ended up accepting an offer of $38 for them. Next is an Affliction shirt. I had this in my Plato's Closet flip video. I bought this from the bins to try to flip to Plato's Closet. They didn't want it. I listed it and sold it in less than a day on Poshmark for 15 bucks. So really happy with that sale. You can see the graphic and the print. Really cool with like the side stitching there. Next up is this Orlando Magic hoodie. I got this at the bins as well. Sold for $25. Adidas tag. Nothing fancy. Just a great $25 sale. Polo Ralph Lauren striped color block shirt. A lot of people say don't pick these up when I do like copper drops, but I love having them in my store. They tend to sell for $20 to $30 depending on the size and colorway. This one I accepted an offer of 20 bucks. I paid $4.19 for it at Goodwill. This was a really cool bins find, Disney Store Eeyore baseball jersey type shirt. And I had this for a while. I listed it for like 39 bucks and I slowly started lowering the price, and I just decided to accept an offer of $23 because I had it for a while and I wanted to make some money. So I can do that. Next up is this Pokemon Pikachu jersey. I picked this up at the bins and sold it almost right away for $29. This was a fun sale. Button-down shirt with big Pikachu spell out on the back with a Pokemon tag. I don't recommend using your finger for the tag, but at the time I listed it, I did. So, you know, don't judge me. Another Disney shirt here, $20 sale. Just picked this up at the bins, and it's a 100-year anniversary, Years of Magic long sleeve shirt. Nothing fancy, but it was 1998, dated on the tag, so I was happy to sell this for 20 bucks. And you can see it had like some really cool design on the back here that was all the different like theme parks and things like that. So next up is a Dooney and Burke purse. I picked this up at a garage sale for $3 and I listed it for $35 and I accepted an offer of $25. I had sat on this for a couple months, but I was happy to make the sale and get it gone. I love this Tommy Hilfiger sweater. If you guys don't sell vintage Tommy, you need to pick up on that. They sell very fast for me on Depop and Poshmark mainly. Sold this for full list price, and there was a stain on the left sleeve right here. It's kind of hard to see, but I disclosed it in the listing, and I paid $4.19 for this at a Goodwill retail store, and $49, great sale. Starter windbreaker, I paid $1 for this in my lot of government auction stuff. I've sat on this for months, so I accepted an offer, or actually I listed this for $20 and someone purchased it. Again, you can see the crummy pictures. Were not updated by any means, so I was happy to get this sold. Vintage Tommy Jeans khaki shorts. I sold these for 15 bucks. Not a great sale, but I picked these up at the bin, so I don't have a lot into them, maybe $2 at most. There were some flaws on them, so I was happy to sell them for $15. Vans floral canvas shoes. I picked these up at the Goodwill bins and sold them for $29. They were a little dirty. I tried to clean them off as best as possible. And what you see is what you get in this picture, but the design was really cool, and I just couldn't leave them behind, so ended up selling them for $29. Ozark Trail hiking sandals. This was not a good pickup, but I got them at the bins. I thought they were Chacos originally, and when I got home, because I didn't even look at them to be honest, they were Ozark Trails, so I was a little disappointed. But when you're fighting at the bins and you see something you want, you grab it before anybody else can take it, and it just sat in my cart. Forgot to check them over. It's my fault, so I was happy to get $15 for them. Miss Me jeans. This is a great brand of jeans to be on the lookout for. Kind of like Rock Revival, they have prices all over the board. These had a couple of flaws on them, but I picked these up at the bins and ended up selling them for $45 on Poshmark, so I was very happy with that sale. Couple more here. This is a Burberry Brit polo shirt. I had it listed for 50 bucks. Didn't really have any offers come through. Some low ballers came in, and so finally I got someone that made me somewhat of a fair offer, and we came to the agreement at $33. I just took the money and moved on. I got this at the bins, so I can't really complain. Vans skate high shoes. I got these at Goodwill for $9.99. This was an awesome find. I love selling Vans shoes and skate shoes. These were in amazing condition, and I sold these for full price of $69. I couldn't find any comps on them, so I just listed them really high, and sure enough, they sold. So sometimes if you don't know what to price it at, price it high and slowly lower, but I didn't even have to lower. Etnies skate shoes. Here we go, another pair. These are Kingpin skate shoes. I got these at the bins. No one else wanted them because they were missing laces. And a little scuffed up at the top there, as you can see. But they were in good shape overall. Lots of life left. They were not faded or heel drag or anything. Good size 12. And so I listed them for $49, and I accepted a best offer of 43 bucks. Sold very, very fast. This was a bins find as well. Fox Racing motocross jersey. Vintage motocross jerseys sell very well. I had it listed for $79 on eBay with like 8 watchers, and I sent out offers. No one accepted. And then I woke up one morning and this had sold for full list price of $59 on Poshmark. So I was just trying out different sale prices on different platforms, and sure enough, this one worked for me. So very happy to make this sale. I had probably less than $2 into this. So you can see it was distressed. There were stains all over it. But motocross stuff has a huge following, so I decided to continue to pick it up. This was an Air Jordan Jumpman hoodie. There was some fading on it, as you can see right in the middle here, which I didn't notice till I got home. I got this at the bins, and I had it listed for $25, accepted an offer of 20 bucks. Very happy to make that sale. It was a youth large, so it wasn't like a great size either, but a $20 sale is great. These are some Hypervenom Neymar indoor soccer cleats, youth size, that I got from somebody on Facebook Marketplace. They were selling a bunch of cleats and shoes and baseball equipment, and I basically have nothing into these because I paid, I think, $15 for everything, and I sold one baseball bat for like 100 bucks or something. So I have absolutely nothing into these at this point. And they sold for $49 full price. This was from my storage unit video where I got a friend of mine to let me sell him a bunch. He let me sell a bunch of stuff from his storage unit. This is a vintage 90s champion Pistons Grant Hill jersey. This sold for $37. I had it listed for $45, and we came to $37 as an agreement. Excellent condition, really cool jersey. And last but not least, for the month of January so far on Poshmark, the Jurassic Park new with tags glow in the dark shirt. I sold this for $15, full list price. This was not an amazing find or anything like that, but I picked this up at the bins. It was extremely clean and it had a cool graphic on it, and so I couldn't leave it behind. These are easy bread and butter sales for me. I have no problem selling a shirt for $15 that I pay less than $1 for. That is still good profit to be made. If you can sell, 8 of those a day, I mean, you're making over $100 net profit on $15 shirts. So there you have it, guys. That is all of my sales on Poshmark for the month of January. I left a couple out because I didn't want to take up all the time. This is a long video, but I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it shows you some of the stuff that I'm selling on Poshmark. If you saw my what sold on eBay video, then like I sell a lot of hard goods on eBay too, and clothing tends to pop and shoes do really well on Poshmark. So let me know if you guys enjoy these videos, and I will continue to make them, on a bi-weekly or monthly basis, and keep you guys in the loop of what is selling, what brands are good to be on the lookout for. Hopefully this helped you. Leave a like on the video. It would mean a lot to me, and make sure to subscribe if you're not part of the Profit Monsters family. And thank you so much for watching. I love you guys so much. I will see you in the next video. Peace, money!